All right. Welcome back, everybody. Rich, how we doing, man? How's everybody's weekend?
Doing good. The weekend went by way too fast, Duke. How did your weekend go?
Weekend went fine. Did a little watch party, little college hoops. Got some topics today, but first off, before we jump into all that, go see our friends at Williams Auto Parts, located on 127 South Detroit Avenue, Portland, Indiana. Go see Rocky. Go see Heath. They've been in business since 1951. 4 generations, family-owned business. No relation to Richie. We won't hold it against him. But Rocky and Heath, good people down there in Portland, Indiana, located just off of 27. Their phone number is 260-726-8001. Go see Rocky. Go see Heath. But got that ad out of the way, Rich. Yeah, it's been going.
Yeah, it has been. Did you catch any of the combine this weekend?
Not particularly a whole bunch. I did see, obviously the Ohio State stuff that came out. It was dominating the news cycle, as you would anticipate.
Yeah,
I'm not shocked. Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles. I mean, those guys are monsters. They should have more hardware than what they do.
correct.
That's kind of
Facts.
what I gathered out of it. You're going to have probably 3 of the top 10 picks.
Yeah.
So, just kind of something on that note. But a little bit of a Colorado lost a player to a single vehicle crash over the weekend. I'm trying to find that in my notes, Rich, the full scope of it. I know Brandon Marion talked about it. Deion Sanders put a tweet out. Just not good. Not a good situation for anybody. Just tough to see some of our young people that have a freak accident.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The
I believe his
heart goes
name.
out go out to the parents.
Yeah, heart goes out to the parents. I believe his name was Dominic.
Dominic Ponder.
Yeah, 2000. He was 24 years old. Rich. Just hate to see that. Regardless of whatever you think of Colorado, you don't want to see anything like that happen to the young people out there. And also, in other news, I don't know if it's by design. The Brian Padua trial was declared a mistrial. I don't know if a lot of people remember that. He was a University of Miami football player that was murdered, I believe, in 2006. That made news. It's not that I had forgotten. I was looking at the dates and stuff like that and remember 2006, Brian Padua was shot and killed. So not to bring the mood down, but that's some of the things that are going on in college football today. Just a very, very unfortunate turn of events today. I know his family is seeking closure, but it just man, a blast from the past. So with that being said, we got the sad stuff out of the way. Rich, college hoops is closing in. Spring football kicks off in, I believe, 3 weeks. Bruce Pearl making headlines this week. Did you happen to catch his comments of on Miami of Ohio?
No, what did he say about the Red Hawks?
So Bruce Pearl on the 29-0 Miami of Ohio, he says if we're selecting the 68 best teams, then Miami of Ohio is going to have to win their tournament to qualify as a champion. As an at-large bid, they're not one of the best teams in the country. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
I think I think Bruce is doing some campaigning. He's also still getting paid by Auburn as an ambassador. Auburn, we did the watch party. Auburn have some egg on their face, Steven. They dropped a game to Ole Miss. Ole Miss, one of the bottom teams at the SEC this year. Chris Beard not having a great year, but they came out and they got a win on the road against Stephen Pearl's club in Auburn down there on the plains. Bruce Pearl obviously doing some, in my opinion, campaigning to get Stephen in the tournament, because I think if we've learned anything from the Auburn fan base, it's going to get restless.
Yeah.
It's going to get restless, and they are going to want some meat on the table. And like I keep referring back to the monster comment, Bruce Pearl created a monster there at down in Auburn, and you're going to have to feed the monster, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But speaking of the scouting combine, there is a lot of debate. I don't know. I think it's a bigger wait and see than anything when it comes to the combine in the regular season. They were doing some comparisons of Mendoza to Shedeur Sanders. Somebody retweeted this. CFB Alerts put it out. It says that this proves people look at numbers, not the actual tape. There's some stuff going on that people don't realize how good Shedeur was. They have him side by side with Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza threw for 2,900 yards, 71% completion percentage, 33 touchdowns, and 6 INTs. Shedeur Sanders threw for 4,100 yards, 74 completion percentage, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Is that something or nothing?
Mendoza won the Heisman.
That's what I'm saying.
And a Natty.
Yes. Won a Heisman, won a Natty. I think it makes it tough to sit there and evaluate the whole scope of it. I guess it's for me, it's just going to be a wait and see. I mean, Shedeur only started maybe 7-8 games last year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mendoza hasn't even taken a snap yet, most likely for the Raiders.
Right.
And I did see some pictures of Mendoza standing next to the other guys. He's a mountain of a dude compared to Garrett Nussmeier.
I just think he needs to put on a little muscle.
Mendoza, I think it's going to help.
He's going to be taking a lot of beatings, and especially going the Raiders.
Yeah,
because they're the worst team for a reason. I mean, their line's all battered. I think he's got to get a little bit, put on maybe 10, 15 pounds of muscle.
Okay,
that's just me.
So since we'll dive into the Raiders here, do you think it's a coincidence that they let Pete Carroll go one and done there? Because something to me, I don't know, you can call me crazy on this, but something there just doesn't pass the smell test on what went on in Vegas.
No, I just didn't think Pete's what? He's in his mid-70s, late 70s.
I think he was 74, but I thought the guy could still coach.
I thought he did too, but the game's evolved, especially at the pro level. I think it's the youth movement, Duke. They're getting guys in their 30s, our age bracket. They're getting rid of the old dogs. I mean, I hate to say it. That's why they went and got Kubiak.
Okay. All right. I'll throw this out there because this has been something that I've been toying with in my mind with the youth movement. Are we finally at the level of the NFL to where we're going to kind of stop seeing retread hires at the coaching?
I think we are. I think we're almost to that point. You're going to be bringing young coordinators, promoting them to head coaching jobs versus the same recycle, rinse, and repeat.
Now, does Sean McVay, is he kind of the linchpin in ushering in the new fresh ideas? He's the leader of the pack.
He's the leader. I mean, he started down in Tampa. Then he got with Washington. And then I forget where else he went. Shit.
But
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
But I mean, if you look at the Washington staff, they had McVay, they had McDaniel, LaFleur, Shanahan.
Shanahan. Yeah, all those guys. Yep, all those guys were over there under Jay Gruden, who is Gruden's brother.
Yeah. So I think that we're seeing the youth movement in the NFL at the coaching level, or in the coaching profession. I think it's going to continue to get younger until something changes again. I just don't think we're going to see the retread like the Norv Turners that, didn't work out here. He goes somewhere else. They hired him, and eventually it just, like Mike Zimmer, which I think Mike Zimmer is a hell of a football coach. I don't care what anybody says, but I think they're just phasing out some of the older guys in the profession. But also, when it comes to that, I thought it was very interesting. Josh Heupel made some comments. We'll transition into the Tennessee side of things. Josh Heupel prefers the 2014 playoff.
Jeez, I wonder why.
I think it's interesting that he would say that. His comment was, the way college football is consistently changing, that probably makes the most sense. Okay, this is a twofold question. I don't know if we'll ever get the right answer out of this, but I mean, obviously the elephant in the room is when Nico left, it left Heupel in a lurch.
Oh, it did. It did.
And I hate to be that guy that brings this up, but is Heupel low-key lobbying for more time because Nico left? Because Tennessee's hungry. They want to win. I don't think that Tennessee necessarily, I mean, it puts them in a tough position because their quarterback hit the ejectocito on them.
Yeah, I think he's needing more time because he went 8-4 this year.
Yeah. I mean, they had a super close loss to Georgia.
So, if they would have beat Georgia, I mean, it could have been 9-3 and maybe a shot to get in, outside chance to get in, play in the SEC championship. But
Vandy didn't get in at 10-2.
Yeah. I think the teams that are at the bottom 25, 8, who were maybe in the playoffs before and they had, successful the first year, didn't make it the next year, you're going to see them stomping their feet like, hey, let's get this 2014 playoff going.
Because I think that's why Eli Drinkowitz is on board with it. I think that's why you see a certain select few of coaches in the SEC that are on board with this. And the reason why I bring that up, because ever since 2020, the Next Drive put this out. Ever since 2020, the SEC collectively, from school to school, and some schools have fired 3 coaches. Auburn's fired 3 coaches since 2020. Buyouts totaling $300 million. I'll go down the list. Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn was the first one. He was fired in 2020, $21.5 million. Will Muschamp, 2020, $12.5 million. Derek Mason at Vandy, $2.6 million. Dan Mullen fired the next year. Ed Orgeron fired the next year. Then you go over to 2022, Brian Harsin, Zach Arnett, Jimbo Fisher, Sam Pittman, Hugh Freeze, Billy Napier, Mark Stoops, Brian Kelly, all fired since 2020. Auburn totaling 3 of the coaching hires that were fired. Florida has 2. South Carolina won. Vandy won. Mississippi State won. Unfortunately, Mike Leach passed away. They kind of put Zach Arnett in a weird situation. But Kentucky makes a change. LSU makes a change. LSU's got 2 coaches on this list since 2020. In a 6-year period, that's a lot of coaches to be gone, and that's $300 million in buyouts.
It's $100 million a year.
Yeah, that they're paying on coaches not
every 3 years. Yeah,
and I look at that and I think that no wonder these guys are clamoring for a 2014 playoff because they're trying to save their job.
Exactly.
For all that it's worth, they're trying to save their job, and I just feel like it's a crapshoot anymore. And then also, speaking of coaches, Mark Stoops hired at Texas, so he's going to get some of his buyout. He's going to be a special assistant to Sarkisian. I think that's a feather in Sark's cap. Very, very interesting times, the way the coaching carousel is moving, and then it's just very bizarre.
Yeah, it's starting to be reminiscent of what it's like in the NFL, Duke. Just on a bigger scale.
Well,
there's more there's more teams, and it's with the transfer portal. I mean, call it what you want. That's college football free agency. It's leveling. We've said it a million times out here. It's you're getting parity now in college football.
Yeah, and I also am under the impression, in the NFL, they have Black Monday, and that's normally 4 or 5 guys just off the rip, and then typically it's done after that. So
typically, then you might have some sprinkled, some shockers like McDermott out of Buffalo, which to me, I still can't believe they fired him. I thought he was a great coach.
He was like 40 games over 500 too.
Exactly. I mean, Buffalo wasn't dominant for so long, when Brady in the Brady era, and now Brady retires. They've won, I think, 7 AFC East titles, 6 or 7.
Yeah,
so it's a little premature with the firings.
So hopefully Joe Brady can ride the ship there in Buffalo. And also another thing, Michael Jordan's team in NASCAR making a ton of waves. They win the lawsuit against NASCAR about the fees and things not being equal, and then all of a sudden things get equaled out, and Tyler Riddick wins the first 3 races, the first driver in Cup Series history to do that, the first 3 out of the gate. I thought that was super impressive.
I didn't watch any of it, but yeah, I did see that they won Daytona.
Yeah, they won Daytona, Atlanta, and then they just won this last one as well. So, I mean, kudos to Jordan's team. Very interesting stuff. And I guess while we're at the kind of the midway point, Rich, we will hit the 10 to 20 on the college football all-time list. The quarterbacks list since 2000. All right, starting off at number 11, Trevor Lawrence. You okay with Trevor Lawrence being at 11?
Hey, the kid won a natty.
12, Colt McCoy.
Colt was good.
Johnny Manziel at 13.
I mean, Johnny Manziel
won a Heisman.
He won a Heisman.
And then on this list coming in at 14, Fernando Mendoza.
Well, 8,200 passing yards, 71 TDs, 22 picks. I mean, talk about a storybook career at IU.
Yeah, and then he grows up, an hour or not even an hour.
20 minutes away from Miami?
Yeah, and they didn't even offer him.
Yeah.
Crazy. Kellen Moore at 15 on this list. You in or out?
I'm out.
You don't. Kellen Moore won a ton of games. He's an NFL head coach now. He won a ton of games in college. You can't get behind. Can't get behind a Boise quarterback.
No, I can't. I can't. Who did they really beat when he was there?
Oregon. When Oregon, Chip Kelly decided that we're going to play them, and they go up there and they get slumped, and LeGarrette Blount punches somebody.
I remember that game now. God, that was that long ago? Damn.
Mm-hmm. Here's a controversial one on this list. Sam Bradford ran into the buzzsaw that was Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
And I think Sam won the Heisman, didn't he?
He won the Heisman, and he was the number 1 pick following that year in the draft to the Rams.
Yeah, because he was the last of the bonus babies, because he signed for $72 million, 48 guaranteed, and the NFL said, okay,
we're done with that.
We're done with that. Which I think with inflation they'll just get back. They'll get back right there, because the NFL salary cap has reached over $300 million this year.
Yes, I did see that. Yep, they just raised it last week.
So, also on this list, Jameis Winston,
the Crab King. Now, you got to put him above Kellen Moore.
You would rank Jameis above Kellen Moore?
I would rank the Crab King above Kellen Moore.
I think
Heisman, Natty.
I thought his sophomore year was awesome. His junior year was really good. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of wacky stuff that went on at Florida State that I think people forget about. Remember when Jameis was suspended and he comes out in the warm-ups and
Jimbo told him, "No, you're not playing."
Yeah, Jimbo freaked out. It just got awkward at the whole Florida State juncture. 18 on this list, Matt Leinart.
Okay, so Matt Leinart needs to be switched with Kellen Moore.
Does
Heisman, Natty. That run with USC was incredible in those Pete Carroll years, Duke.
Okay, I'll give you that. So next on the list, Andrew Luck. Where does Andrew Luck filter in on your list? Andrew Luck sitting at 19.
He was good. He was really good.
I thought Andrew Luck was really good too. It's unfortunate the way his NFL career panned out.
Right.
Just not ideal. And then bringing up number 20 on this list, Jaden Daniels. Is that controversial? Jaden Daniels 20?
In a sense. I mean, he started out ASU.
Right.
Out in the desert. ASU, they've not really been a football school since Jake the Snake Plummer and Tillman.
Yeah.
So he was where he was at in circumstance, and then he makes that transfer at LSU, and it wins the Heisman.
Propels him to a...
He should be above. Kellen Moore should not be in the top 20. No.
Okay. All right, I'll give you the next 10, and we'll table this for next week. The next 10, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, Caleb Williams, Dylan Gabriel, Phillip Rivers, Carson Palmer, Case Keenum, Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix. Those are the next 10 on the list. I can already tell I really think I would put... There's some notable guys that I'm looking at this list that are on there, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, there's going to be... It's basically 30 through 40 to 50. You're gonna hear some of the names, and you're gonna look at you're gonna hear some of the new names, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's just recency biased. So
Yeah.
we'll table that for next week. I think that as we were talking about coaches, the longest tenured coaches out there right now, when you think about it, it's kind of interesting to say the least. You have Kirk Ferentz, been the head coach at Iowa since 1999.
That is for Iowa.
Yeah, for Iowa.
Because they don't have a pro team, and that's all they really lock into.
So Ferentz 99 at Iowa, Troy Calhoun at Air Force 2007, Dabo Sweeney, Clemson 2009, Dave Doran 2013 at NC State, Jeff Monken 2014 at Army, Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan 2014, Chuck Martin 2014 at Miami of Ohio, Pat Narduzzi still at Pitt since 2015, Kehlani Satake 2016 BYU, Kirby Smart 2016 at Georgia, PJ Fleck 2017, Mike Loxley 2019, Ryan Day 2019, and Tyson Helton at Western Kentucky since 2019. I'm kind of shocked that Nard Dog is still there, Pat Narduzzi.
Well, they are a MAC school in the ACC, Duke.
That is true. That is very true. I think it's very interesting to say the least. And then also on the recruiting rankings side, College Football Talk Daily put this out, and they raise an interesting point here to 247 and On 3. And here's what the quote was, the tweet. It says, "This is something I got told doesn't happen. It happens to every school outside of the Big Ten and the SEC. If it doesn't help 247 and On 3 sell articles, they get dropped. And the reason why I bring that up, Rich, is because CFP Kings put this out there. Gunnar Rivers commits to NC State, instantly drops 35 spots in the composite 247 rankings. He chose the wrong school, wrong conference, and the industry gets penalized by recruiting services. Very cool is what CFP Kings put out." Is there some truth to that, or are we reading into that too much?
Oh yeah, there's some truth to that.
I think so, because I think they play with the rankings too much.
Yeah, and Gunnar Rivers, the kid, his dad went to NC State. Of course, he's going to follow in his dad's footsteps. His dad was a hell of a quarterback at NC State. He was number 4 pick overall in the 2004 draft. Like, the kid knows. The kid, how do I want to say this, Duke? His dad's been through it. His dad's going to guide him in the right direction.
Right.
Not these guys that are giving these rankings. Oh, well, he committed here. Oh, terrible choice. What do these guys know?
That's my thing, because I think when it comes to the recruiting service stuff, it definitely gets the fans going. It's provocative, and it gets them all up in arms, and just very, very I think it's stupid, because if you go to the wrong camp and have a bad day, they're going to write it, and then they're going to say you can't play, and then you fall in the rankings. But I mean, look at how many 3-star guys are in the NFL. Look at it. Just, to me, when they label somebody a 3-star, they just don't know if they can play or not.
Right. And truthfully, look at Cam Ward, 0-star.
Yep. First pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, NFL draft. So to me, these rankings don't mean diddly squat to me.
I mean,
here and there, yeah, for some positions, but overall, I don't really pay attention. I want to see if the kid can play.
Right. But speaking of the industry, On 3 put out the LSU portal haul, is what they called it. They are just drinking out of the Lane Kiffin trough. Some of the notable guys on this list: Leavitt, the quarterback, Arizona State. Princewell comes over from Ole Miss. Jordan Seaton leaves Colorado. Jordan Ross, Tennessee. Hassan Longstreet leaves USC. Fahim Deline from Ohio State. Devin Harper comes over from Ole Miss. Just Winston Watkins Jr. and a couple other guys on there. Hopefully Lane Kiffin's got the right stuff. Not that I'm referencing the new kids, but hopefully
Duke, I'm surprised you knew that.
Hey man. I know a lot of things. I know a lot of things about very little. The other thing that I seen Josh Pate throw out there, a lot of heat his way recently, but I thought this Pate, him going over the Texas Tech schedule, I thought was fascinating. In the Texas Tech schedule, Abilene, they open with Abilene Christian. They got to go on the road to Oregon State. They have Houston, Sam Houston, at Colorado, Arizona State, at Cincinnati, Arizona, West Virginia. They got to go to Oklahoma State, got to go to Baylor, and then they end it with TCU. Is there some potential landmines in that stadium or on that schedule?
For LSU?
No, Texas Tech.
For Texas Tech? I'm gonna take a look here again so I can see in front of me.
I don't think Houston is going to be a walk in the park for them. I don't like at Houston. I don't like at Colorado, Arizona State, because I think Kenny Dillingham secretly reloads, and because of where they're located, I think people underestimate what he's doing out there. So I think
yeah.
And I don't know what Arizona is going to be. I would assume West Virginia is going to be better under Rich Rod. Oklahoma State, Eric Morris, first year. But also you have Baylor, Dave Aranda, DJ Lagway. And I think you're going to get a healthy DJ Lagway this year.
That might be the game to circle.
Because a potential landmine in this schedule, let's say you drop one to Houston. And nobody talked about Houston last year, and they won like 10 games. They were my dark horse to win the Big 12. So,
yeah, I think with Lagway going to Baylor, I think that's the one that may or make or break the Raiders to try and get back in the playoffs.
Yeah, that Baylor game, because I don't know is in the Big 12 that you I don't know if you can take more than one loss. Joe Long says, the hell you say? Yeah, I find it interesting. I think the Big 12 is going to be one of the more fascinating conferences. I think the ACC is going to be too Clemson dependent, because if Clemson is what they say they are going to be, and if Dabo has rode the ship, Clemson should win the ACC going away. Florida State is a big question mark to me. Duke loses Darian Minsa. Miami's obviously going to be the favorite. Going to be interesting. I think the ACC will be interesting. Joe says, what's up? Just got here. It's all good, Joe. Next thing that I have, don't know the combo. Well, we're going to transition to Kirby Smart's tenure at Georgia, and I'll read the records to you. Kirby comes out first year 8-5, 13-2 in 2017, 11-3 in 2018, 12-2 at 19, 8-2 in 20, 21 natty, 14-1, 22 he was 15-0, 23 13-1, 24 11-3 in 25 12-2. Oh, Joe just crushing Kirby right now. So I don't know. I don't get the Georgia angst, if you ask me. With going over those records, he's only not won more than 10 games twice. And that was
his
the
first
COVID year
year,
in the first year.
Yeah, I mean, the first year, I think if what 2020 was a complete and utter mess, just in terms of everything. I think you would have seen Georgia playing in the Natty.
Speaking of 2020, do you think that I think it's interesting that when it comes to 2020, I think a lot of people forget that the Big Ten changed the rules for Ohio State.
Ohio State was 6-0 playing the Natty.
Yep. They changed the rules for Ohio State. And
do I agree with that? No. I mean, because what was going on with that, the SEC, we're going to play ball. The Big Ten's just dragging they were dragging their feet, trying to, should we cancel the season? Should we not cancel the season? And then you put them, they play the Big Ten championship and you put them in the Natty. It was just like, just throw it up in the air.
Yeah, I think the 2020 season was a lost year for everybody.
Yeah.
But that's revisionist history. That was a many moons ago. But since we've invoked the Kiffin side of it here's some interesting records for Lane Kiffin. The Grit put this out. Lane Kiffin 0-5 against Alabama, 0-3 against Stanford, 0-2 against UCF, 1-3 against Florida, 1-2 against Oregon, 1-2 against Notre Dame, 1-2 against Marshall, 0-1 against Buffalo, 0-1 against Oregon State, and 0-1 against Navy. Now, the one that I have circled, or the two that I have circled, are Florida. He is 1-8 against Florida and Alabama. Is that something or nothing?
What was the record?
1-8 against Alabama and Florida combined.
I mean, those are the two SEC powerhouses, Duke, at the time.
So I think
it's a big deal.
We compare that to Kirby at Georgia. Kirby is 2-7 against Alabama. And then he's 2-0 against Arkansas. He's 10-1 against Auburn. 8-2 against Florida. So at his two big rivalry games outside of Alabama, the two big rivalry games, he's 18-3. 18-3. And then you slide on over to the next column. He's 10-0 against Kentucky. He's 1-2 against LSU, 5-0 against Mississippi State, 8-0 against Missouri, 1-0 against Oklahoma. He's 2-3 against Ole Miss. I think that's interesting to say the least. 7-1 against South Carolina, 9-1 against Tennessee, another big rivalry game. He's 3-1 against Texas, 1-0 against A&M, and 6-1 versus Vandy. I think that's pretty elite because they're three big games. If you lump in Tennessee in there, he's 27-4 against Tennessee, Auburn, in Florida, which I think that's something and not nothing. I think that's
fair enough.
Highly impressive. And then I think that this is a testament to the Big Ten, and when it comes to certain things and when people get involved in the Big Ten and don't understand it, why the Indiana winning the Big Ten Conference is a big deal. So since 1930, the winningest programs in the Big Ten, Ohio State was tied with Minnesota in the 30s at 57 wins. Michigan wins the 40s with 74 victories. Ohio State wins the 50s, 63 victories. And the 50s and 60s, 68 victories. Michigan wins the 70s with 96 victories. And then Michigan dominates the next 2 decades. They dominate the 70s, 80s, and 90s. In 1980, in the 1980s, 90 wins. Michigan in the 90s, 93 wins, and they won more than John Cooper. I think that's closer than what people think. And then the 2000s. So basically in the modern time, Ohio State 102 wins, 2010, the 2010s 117 wins, and then the 2020 66 wins. Ohio State the last 3 decades has dominated it. So basically since the 30s, Minnesota's the last team to put up a fight in the Big Ten against Ohio State or Michigan. So about 100 years of dominance by 2 programs.
That's impressive.
So we'll see what it is going forward, but I thought those were interesting notes. But comparative to the SEC, this is where it gets interesting. So the same time frame, the 2 dominant teams in the SEC in the 30s, Tennessee, Alabama, no shock there. The 40s, Georgia. The 50s, Ole Miss. The 60s, Alabama. 70s, Alabama. 80s, Georgia. 90s, Florida. 2000s, Florida. And then it switches back to Alabama, but in the 2020s, it's Georgia again. So you have a little bit more parity in the SEC when it comes to that. So I think there's something to say. There is a standard there. I mean, 2 teams in the Big Ten. You got about a handful in the SEC. I find that fairly interesting, Rich. And then also, the next thing that I wanted to point out was wins at Bryant-Denny Stadium for certain teams. Oklahoma got theirs in 2025, one of the very few home games that DeBoer's lost. 2023 Texas, I remember watching that game. This is where it gets very interesting. Last win in Bryant-Denny Stadium for LSU 2019. Orgeron. That'd have been the Burrow
year.
And then when you move it to 2015, Ole Miss with Hugh Freeze. 2012, which would be the Manziel year for A&M.
LSU in 2011, 2010?
Nah, LSU's most recent victory. This list is just their most recent victory.
Oh, just most, okay.
So Auburn 2010, Cam Newton. Georgia 2007, that would have been what, Saban's first year. And then these are pre-Saban. Mississippi State 2006. South Carolina 2004. Arkansas 2003. Tennessee 2003. Florida 1998. Vanderbilt 1984. Kentucky has never won at Alabama, and Missouri has never won at Alabama.
Ooh.
So you can say a lot about the Saban stuff, but from 2007 on, there's been very special teams that have won there.
Right.
2007, I think, is the Stafford year with Georgia. I would say.
What year for Stafford?
I think 2007.
No, I mean, what year was he? Like junior, senior?
I think he was a senior.
Because Stafford came out in 2009.
Yeah.
So it had to have been 2008.
Yeah, so he would have been a sophomore or junior. But from Saban on, there's been great quarterbacks that have only beat him. I think 2015 was Chad Kelly, which Chad Kelly was a special dude at Ole Miss. I don't care what anybody says. Chad Kelly was a dog. John Mateer.
Did Chad Kelly go to Ole Miss after Scuba?
Yes, because he left Clemson, went to Scuba, and then I think that's where Freeze got him.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it's only been pretty much Heisman winners. Cam Newton, Heisman. Johnny Manziel, Heisman. Joe Burrow, Heisman. So they've been beat by 3 Heisman Trophy winners.
Yeah, I mean that's you got to be something special that year to get that dub at Bryant Denny.
Oh yeah, I think that's fairly accurate. I guess we could go here, or we could just fold up shop for tonight. Rich, what are you thinking? We cut it off.
Yeah, I think. I mean, because I got nothing else. I gotta get the girls to bed and all that
Oh,
fun
I
dad
hear you.
stuff.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I guess we'll be back. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. Phone lines will be open tomorrow. Probably do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but the phone lines will be open. If you're new here, do us the biggest favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. That helps us out a ton. And for the most part, I guess we will see you guys tomorrow. Rich, you got anything else?
Got nothing else, man. Can't think of anything on top of my head.
All right. Sounds good, Rich. And we will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a great night, everybody. Catch you later.